Welcome to another episode of Guest Speaker Interview on Wisdom Wednesday. It is a day where I have different experts to come and help you, support you, and to guide you with their expertise in their field. Today, we're going to talk about a heart-to-heart subject, relationship. Do you know when you're ready to go back to a relationship, even that after your trauma and heartbreak? How do you know that you are in a healthy relationship or you're just repeating the pattern that you have been experiencing? Today, we're going to talk about the white elephant in the room, all those hot topics with our expert today. Sarah, thank you for coming up onto our show today.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.
Please tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. So my name is Sara Slaybaugh. I am a Christian divorced and remarried blended family wife and mom. I went through, of course, my own divorce. I went through a season of singleness, being a single mom, trying to navigate the dating scene, and I found that to be exhausting and overwhelming. So as I went through that, I learned how to navigate it much better. I learned how to tell the difference between healthy and unhealthy relationships. I learned how to ask better questions when I was meeting somebody so that I would not waste my time on people that were not meant for me. And I wound up remarrying into the relationship of my dreams in 2022. And so now I'm using all I learned on that journey to help other single Christian women successfully date to find the relationship of their own dreams. So I do focus on Christian women because that was my journey. But if you are not a Christian, you will still find loads of value in this conversation.
Oh, that is amazing because I know that everyone have their different dealing with system, let's call it. Okay, so when I went for my own divorce, my dealing full system was trying to find a replacement ASAP to mute my loneliness, to actually, because I've been with someone for over 19 years, I'm not used to not having someone around, so I become this very desperate person to just go
Yes.
and keep searching and searching. And I have here a lot of people saying that they don't know if they're ready to date. So, in your point of view, how do I know I'm ready to date?
Yeah. So, first thing, you should have done something, or you should be doing something to heal from your past relationship. So, like you just said, especially if you've been in a long term relationship, especially if you were in a marriage, you need to do something to heal from that. So, that may mean you need to go to therapy. It may mean you can invest in a coaching program like I offer to help people. It may mean that you just need to do some learning on your own. So, to seek out things that you don't already know. So, like I was talking about, how to tell if your relationship's healthy or not, which we'll talk about. Maybe you need to learn about healthy versus unhealthy relationships. Maybe you need to learn how to recognize red flags, or what is a red flag. Maybe you need to learn how to say no when you see a red flag instead of continuing in a relationship that is not good for you. So, first and foremost, you need to find some sort of healing from your past relationships, before you even consider, trying to get into dating or find another relationship. And then also, you really need to do some self learning. So, you need to figure out, who am I as a person? What are the things, activities, interests, things that I actually like? What are the things I don't like? Because a lot of times when we're in a long term relationship, those things sometimes get pushed to the wayside, and we need to kind of revamp those, right? We need to rediscover, what are the things that we enjoy. Are they the same as a long time ago before we were in that relationship? How have we changed? So you really need to see, what is it that you now enjoy to do? What are your activities, your interests? Also learning about yourself in relation to other people. So what are the qualities that you like in other people? What are the qualities that you maybe don't like in other people, right? So it's a good idea to do some of that too, so that you kind of know who you are, you're confident in yourself. And then those things that you identified that you like doing. So maybe you like to go shopping by yourself. Maybe you like to read books, whatever it may be, you really should start doing those, right? You should start getting back into doing the things that you love to do. And you really should get to a point where you can be by yourself, you can do those things by yourself, and that you can enjoy being by yourself and enjoy doing some of your interests and your things that you love to do alone. So that will help you build your self-confidence. It will help you kind of put some of the pieces back together, right? And when you do that, you're then not looking for somebody else to complete you or to fulfill you, right?
That sounds wonderful because I remember back into my day, after a 19 years abusive marriage coming out, I was desperately looking for love and actively looking for it. But you're right, at the same time as I was healing and going through the process, I have studied over 40 relationship courses and books and audios and all of that, trying to understand it, what's going on. Because being with someone for so long, we're starting to forget what is dating like, what is men like, what is intimacy like. Like there's a lot of
Right.
things that I don't know. And I realized that the best thing for us is education. Knowledge is power. So when we learn more about ourselves, we learn more understanding into what we want. And there was the one thing that I really wakes me up is there's a sentence that I heard: I need to learn forgiveness, not just for the person who hurt me, but the person that I was. That was a
Right.
big learning turn for me because I didn't know I need to give forgiveness to myself. I didn't know I was blaming myself for not doing the right thing by me, or if you have children, you wasn't doing the right thing with your children as well. You did it because you thought that you were protecting the family, but not really. You are sabotaging yourself as well as for the future or the well-being of the people who are affected as well. So I think that learning was very important. I was talking to another relationship coach, and he's a guy. So when he actually said, he said, you know, one of the biggest mistake women does is that when they go into a new relationship, they expect the new person to uh, recover everything that they lost from the last relationship,
Right.
without
Yeah.
realizing that they are the person who needs to feel fulfilled at first before they go into a new relationship, to make this relationship a healthy one, not a lacking one, not a desperate one, not a needy one, but a healthy relationship. So that brings me to the next question: how can I tell if my relationship is healthy or not?
So I like to use the three S's for this. So you can evaluate this very easily, usually once you learn how to do it. So the three S's are safety, speech, and support. So the first one, safety. Are you safe? Now, everybody wants to jump to physically being safe at first, which you need to, right? We need to be physically safe. So we shouldn't be in a relationship that is physically dangerous for ourselves or our children if you're a parent. But there's all kinds of different safety things, right? It could be emotional safety. Maybe there's something going on where you're really constantly being torn down and you don't feel emotionally safe. You don't feel like the other person would protect you emotionally, right? There could be large financial issues that are going on, and that would make you feel that you're unsafe financially. So it's not always just the physical safety. However, of course, that's a big one that people think of. So the first thing is you need to make sure that you feel safe in a relationship, right? That's a sign of a healthy relationship. The next one is speech. Now, you can look at this a couple different ways. A lot of people go towards what are the words that somebody's using towards me. So are they using words that tear me down instead of building me up? And that is a good way to look at it. I kind of focus more on, do I feel like I have freedom of speech in the relationship? And then what I mean by that is, do I feel like I can share my opinion? Do I feel like my opinion is valid? Do I feel like if there's an issue, I am allowed to bring it to the other person's attention, right? Even if it's not something with the relationship, maybe you're talking about a totally different subject, but you feel like you can't bring up different parts of it because you're worried about the other person's reaction, right? So I usually focus on speech in those ways. Do you feel like you have freedom of speech? Do you feel like you can openly share your opinions? Do you feel like you can really talk from the heart and share pieces of who you are, right? So in a healthy relationship, you really should feel like you can communicate well, you can say anything that is on your mind. Now, you don't want to say things, right, rude or tearing down your partner, but that's not what I'm alluding to. It's like mainly just feeling like you are allowed to communicate, that you're not walking on eggshells about what topics are off limits, you know? So you really should feel freedom of speech in a healthy relationship. And then the third S is the support. So do you feel supported by your partner, right? So this could be in a lot of different areas. So if you were to get sick, do you feel that your partner would help you? Do you feel like they would take care of you? If you're a parent, do you feel supported by your partner in your parenting, right? Do you feel that if you had any sort of endeavor or a goal, like let's say you wanted to become more active or to lose weight, or let's say you wanted to go after a new job, anything like that, any goals that you would have, do you feel that you have support from the other person in that, and they're encouraging you in that, and they're building you up, and they think that you can do it, and they're helping you, you know, kind of put the pieces in place to achieve that? So do you feel that they support you in all these different areas of your life? If you're in a relationship and you really don't feel like the other person is coming alongside of you and wants the best for you, that's an issue, right? You should feel that the other person genuinely wants the best for you, that they want good things for you. They want you to help reach your goals. They want you to be successful, you know? And so those are the three that I focus on to tell if your relationship is healthy or not. So it's the safety, it's the speech, and it's the support.
I think you're very right because we have to understand a lot of the times that men and women have a very different communication system. Our receptor is actually different. A lot of the men, they speak from their heart without filter. And when a woman hear it, we can have our sensitive side and actually completely talk it to the offensive. Instead of seeing the deeper layer, they are just caring about you, but they don't know how to speak. We think of it as he's attacking me, he's not looking after me, he's not loving me. In that,
Mhm.
that must be a bad relationship. So I think with a lot of the things that you just mentioned with speech and support and things like that, we do need to understand our partner's communication style. What are they? And teach them how we want to speak to. And I think that's something that you are sharing with our audience here, how we want to be speak to, not just to change his way of speaking. Okay, you can't change someone, but you can explain them into a way, and that's what Sarah does, to teach you how to speak in a way that he can reciprocate as a man in their lizard brain to our sensitive heart and our feminine way of speaking. So that's what the beautiful speech makes up this beautiful relationship. And I think it's something that a lot of people don't talk about. We just talk about a lot of the safety and the support and stuff like that. That's
Mhm.
basic. But Sarah, you hit the nail on the head about speaking, because it is communication. All relationship is
Yeah,
about
yeah.
communication. And you just hit the nail in the head about how do we speak to each other? How do we feel like that we've been heard? And how do we not get too sensitive with the usual way of your man speaking? And it's very, very valuable lesson that we have there. So if I may ask you another question, what are the biggest mistake people make when they're dating?
So I think the number one mistake people make is that they don't go into it knowing what they really are looking for. Okay. So I call this your non negotiables. So you really should set up what are my maybe top three, maybe no more than four non negotiables.
Mm,
What a non negotiable is the person must possess this quality on their own in their own life, okay, in order for you to even consider dating them. Okay.
mm,
So it's a quality that they need to have themselves in their life, not that they're going to change to meet that quality for you, but something that they're already doing. Okay. So the biggest mistake, first of all, is that people don't take the time to figure out what their non negotiables are. And
mm,
so they're dating without any intention really, because they're meeting people that are really not right for them, and at first they don't even realize it, and then they wind up getting emotionally invested in the relationship the longer it goes on, and then once they realize, oh, some of these things are really not what I want, it's harder to get out of it then, right? It's like you're wasting your time, then your emotions, your energy in a relationship that from the beginning you could have told was not right for you, right? And
Yeah.
so for me, like, for I'll give you some examples of what my non-negotiables were when I was dating. The number one thing, because I'm a Christian and because my faith really is at the forefront in my life, I wanted somebody that already had that going on in their life too. Not somebody that just said, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, or oh, I go to church, or if you want me to go to church, I'll go to church with you, because I got that, a good bit. I didn't want to pull anybody along. I didn't want to be anybody doing things like that for me or because they thought I wanted them to. I wanted somebody that really had that already going on in their life, because I was looking towards the future and I would love to be in ministry with somebody. I would love to be in a Bible study with somebody. I would love, if I had a question about something faith related or in scripture, I could come to them and we could discuss it. That's what I was looking for. So that's an example of my first non-negotiable. And then I had a couple other ones. One was activity levels. So I like to run and hike and bike and do yoga and all these things. And so I wanted somebody that also had that as a part of their lifestyle. And then the last one that was really primary for me was location. So I was dating as a single mom, and I knew that really, if somebody was 3 hours away, I wouldn't be able to put in the time to build enough trust, because as a mom, I want to make sure my children are taken care of and safe, right? And so if I was eventually going to bring somebody else into my family, I needed to make sure that I fully built trust with them. I needed to make sure that I have spent the time with them, to make sure that this is solid, that this is a good fit if somebody's going to be the stepfather of my children, right? And so I knew realistically I needed to put a location, a time radius cap on it, because realistically 3 hours away from me was not going to give me enough time to evaluate that. Now, that might be different for other people, but those are some examples about what my non-negotiables were. And then I used those when I met people online. When I was doing online dating, I would ask them open-ended questions about those things so that I could really gauge right from the beginning, was this a person that may actually be a good relationship for me or not? And I was able to save myself a lot of wasted time, right? Wasted emotions and things, by just quickly using those to weed out the people that just were not meant for me. And it doesn't mean that I was rude to them, or I would just usually say, I don't feel we're a romantic match, but I wish the best of luck to you. And sometimes they were respectful back to me, and sometimes they weren't. But if they weren't, that just showed me more so that they were not for me, right?
Exactly. And I think that a lot of women that who are over 40, they start to worry about, I have little time to actually meet the right person. I have little
Yeah.
time left to be happy. So I just take whatever the next option, or the man that who wants entertainment within me. And then they jump
Yes.
from dating them like straight away, thinking about what flower are they putting in the wedding. And it
Right.
is a very, very easy mistake for people to make. I always say that, like, think of these five step in a dating: your application, your interview, your trial, your dating before going into a committed relationship. That's what
Mhm.
the stages that you need to keep your head at, so you're not jumping ahead. And like, I love the way that you put down your standards of what are your non-negotiable, because we get so desperate and say, oh yeah, this one is giving me attention. Okay, yeah, I'll give attention back.
Right.
And then immediately, like, he didn't text me for 12 hours. And I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, gotcha. Yep, he didn't text you for 12 hours. Guess what? Yes, the truth is he's texting 10 other women at the same time. So
Right.
you're only one of them that he forgot. So be that person that you can send up and say, hey, you know what? This one doesn't meet my requirement. This one is
Right.
fine. This one may have potential, but I'm interviewing a few more candidates as well. Put yourself first. It's not about being selfish. It's not about being rude,
Right.
like what Sarah said. It's about your happiness. Is you, is your life. No one else can judge you on that. I've been called a professional dater back in my days, and saying that I have like, no like the endless energy to keep looking. And I'm like, okay, if I shut my door, I won't find my happiness. Just like you
Right.
didn't shut your door, I didn't shut my door. I found my amazing supportive partner. Yeah, you were saying that if you are sick, what do they do? I said I was sick for the last week, and he have done everything for me, from cooking to cleaning to walking the dog to cleaning the bed. Yeah, that's the kind of support I need to get better. And that's the truth, that when you find the right person, all those fear that you were thinking of, like I admit that I was one of those that who was scared to look at romantic movies because my life was far from it. So I was
Mhm.
too scared to look at movie like that, so I would fantasize it. And I'm very openly admitting that because I have healed. I don't see it as a shame. I don't see it as a fault. I see it as, hey, you know what? I'm quite proud of myself. I'm overcoming that. And just like you, anyone that who are looking for love, it is a journey, it is a challenge, but you don't have to do it alone. Talk to people like Sarah here who can give you the guidance so you are not fighting this battle alone. And I have seen many, many people fall up and down, and I don't understand, why don't they just look for help? That way they don't have to waste time and going through
Right.
all this heartache and still not finding what they're looking for. All you have to do is a little bit of an investment on you, on your time, and getting the result you want. I can guarantee you, as soon as you get the right help, you will get your happiness and your result. Either way, either you find happiness within yourself or you find happiness within your new partner. You will find that peace, that grounding that you're looking for. And that's one of the reasons why we do all of this interview with different experts to help you to find that solution that you've been seeking. Sarah, thank you so much again for today, for coming onto our show. Tell people, how can they reach out to you?
Yep. So you can email me. My email address is sarah@saraslaybaugh.com. I do have a Facebook group for the single Christian women in the audience. So it's called Confidence and Connection for Single Christian Women. I am on Instagram at sarah.slaybaugh. And I do have a YouTube channel, which is at Sara Slaybaugh Coaching. If you are interested in signing up for my free guide, it is a video guide that walks you through the 3 essential steps to finding the relationship of your dreams. You can find that at www.saraslaybaugh.com/free guide, and you can get that there. It would be great for you if you're looking for a healthy relationship, a loving and supportive relationship. It's kind of like the mini course on what we were talking about.
That's perfect. I will put all the details in the show note there so everyone can reach out to Sarah. Thank you once again for being on our show today. Thank you for our audience and listener for joining us on another episode of Wisdom Wednesday. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.